Go ahead.
What are we talking about? Yeah, that's right. We're talking about live from Long Island, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, we just had the craziest like back and forth about technical difficulties. We almost didn't make it on, but we are here. It is live. It is a Friday evening in December. Hi, Agnes. How are you doing? It's good to see
I'm good now.
you. That's right. That's right. Really, you were fretting at first. You was like, Ryan, what are you doing? You can't get your thing correct. What is
What's
happening?
going on? I
But
can't
so
hear
we
you. This
work
and
out.
that.
Yeah, we figure it out.
We're
We
good
figured
now.
it out. Okay. So, first things first, we want to have some fun. Let's do it. I really, honestly, last week when I played that first short form video for you, I loved your reaction. So I'm just gonna give you a react. I'm gonna do this every week. Play something for you that you've never seen and have you react to it while it's online, right? So check this out.
Did you know that filing a joint tax return makes both spouses equally liable for the entire tax owed, even if only one earned the income? Did you also know that you might not be responsible for errors your spouse made on the joint tax return if you were unaware of them? This was the case for Chris, who faced a huge tax burden from their ex spouse's unpaid taxes. After coming to us and qualifying for innocent spouse tax relief, we were able to get the heirs to agree that Chris was not liable for the outstanding taxes. If you are in a similar situation, innocent spouse tax relief could be your family's solution. Visit our website to see if you're qualified at newyorktaxresolutions.com. I love it.
Wow! Did you like that?
I recognize that couple. They were very upset with each other. Yes.
Let us know. Make sure. I have to make sure I put on there actors, because people might think they're real people, right? And I was
They
like, oh my god.
were real people. Come on.
Now, which one do you think? Like when you were watching it, which one did you think was Chris? Was it the man or the woman who had gotten in trouble and the guy and was now
It's
worried?
always
Which one?
him. It's always
It's
him.
always him. It's always the guy. That's right. That's right. That's
Women
right.
are more
Ladies and
responsible.
gentlemen, that's great. That's great. It's always the guy who's irresponsible. All right.
Always.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our show today is not is not going to be about that. It is going to be relationship. It is going to be a love show today. We're going to be talking about age differences, and specifically, is age nothing but a number, right? I mean, is it though? I mean, can you really get along with someone who has a completely different age than you? What happens? What are the implications, both from a societal, from a financial, sexual perspective? Let's see. We'll be right back. Again, live from Long Island, New York. This is Love, Death, and Taxes. I'm Ryan O'Neill Williams with my co-host Agnes Amisano. Hey, Agnes. Again, we got started with the relationship part. I mean that'll break it up, right? That's over, right?
That's it. That's it. That's it. Yes. Well, although after some counseling, they went came back together. Yes. So you know.
Oh, they are able to come. That's right. That's right. You can do both. So you take care of their tax problem, and then you counsel them to make sure that they stay together, because
That's
that
correct.
can be that's a tough one right there, man. You didn't pay your taxes properly. Now I have to pay for it. Nobody likes that. Oh, we're both going to jail. Who's going to take care of the kid? Oh boy, it's not. It's not a
Now you like
conversation
your
you want to
mother-in-law, right? Took care of the kids, right?
yeah, yeah, and not, yeah. Let's not. That's a whole. Listen, you think a mother-in-law is looking for kids? I think a mother-in-law is looking for a beautiful daughter-in-law who she can look up to or be proud of. God forbid she's the one who made it so that you don't have any
Yeah.
money, or he did. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right, so our conversation today is really going to be about age differences between the sexes and relationships, and basically how those work out. I have a little experience in that. You have a little experience in that. And then in general, I guess we can look at what society has to say. You know what? Let's start with your opening remarks. What do you think about, say, uh, an older man, older man, versus a younger woman? What do we call those? May,
December,
December.
May,
Yes,
December, May
December.
romances. Yes,
That's right. That's
December, May
right.
romances.
What do you, what do
So
you think? Those are very much more common too, aren't they?
yes, yes, and they are more acceptable in society.
Mhm.
Instead, the Mrs. Robinson, situation.
That's right.
Uh,
It comes with,
look, when it comes to relationship, too, when it comes to two people having fun, like you said at the beginning, age is nothing but a number. Um, until so, it's having fun, but at certain age, people have different um, mental and physical needs, and so like we're talking about, uh, um,
yeah,
I know a lady that likes to, a lot of women likes to lie about their age. Likes to pretend to be, 20 years younger. And I told her that will be all great. She looks great. I said, but stop falling to sleep after dinner at 8 o'clock. So this way, you can fool someone, because let's face it, if someone tells me right now, let's go out, and we are leaving 10 to 11 o'clock at night to the nightclub, I will look at that person and say, yeah, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Have fun. Because like, that's not there for
you,
me.
can't, you think you can't keep up at this point, right? Is that what it is? You're like, oh no, I'm
I
not
don't think
doing
I want
this.
to. It's not that I can't, because you saw me in May. I danced 3 days away. But this is not that I really want to. This is no longer my need. So coming back to men older than a woman. With men, it's always easier.
Okay.
We had those chats
Yeah.
before. No matter at what age you are, you can father a child. Women have this biological clock
Yes.
ticking.
Mhm.
When
Right.
men
Right.
get a little bit gray here or there, it's like, oh, he looks sexy. He's a silver fox. Women get
Right.
gray, we just get old.
Yeah. They
So
consider it.
it's this is double standard. It's a double standard.
Yes,
And I
there it
always
is. There really
yeah,
is.
and I always keep repeating to the couples, like, what you really in for, what are your expectations? Because men can have younger women till he has his purse open, his wallet open. Money runs out, usually young person runs out, and then he will look for a nurse. Not too many young women are good for a role of a nurses and changing diapers when they're trying to have fun. That's the reality. That's the harsh reality of the relationship. So guys, think about what you're doing. If you want to have fun, go for 20, 25-year-old, no problem. Yes, Ryan. But will she be the partner that you want to be, that you want that you want her to be? um I knew of a guy who was dating a girl 10 years younger than him. Only 10 years. It's really not that much. It shouldn't be. I mean, when you're 40 and she's 30, but when you are 60, she's 50, that blends in. So at that point, he was close. No, he was 35, she was 25. And he was more into his business. He wanted to grow his business. And then he tells me that he has nothing to talk to her about, because business and serious stuff wasn't holding her attention. So, even at that point, depending where your mind is, where you are in life, if you're building something, if you are really career oriented, well, that person, that younger girl, she wants to just a party, go out, depending what age she's in. Again, women in their 30s are more family oriented, career oriented as well. So maybe that's a better group age to look at than if you are in your 50s and you're looking for the 20-year-old. I hope you have a lot of blue pills and you have a lot of energy drinks to go and have
And
fun and things like that. Because again,
Temptation.
this is not a cookie cutter, but majority of couples like that ends up this way.
I have to tell you, I believe you are right. I think that this older man, younger woman, is a sliding scale. You can be 70 and pick up with a woman who is 50, and that probably doesn't matter. Or 60 and pick up with a woman who is 50 or 40, and it probably doesn't matter. But when you are 35, 40, and you start picking up with a 25-year-old who basically is going to try to run rings around you because you may not have the energy, you may not have the attention span, you may not have the ability to do all the things or even want to do the things. Like you might not, you didn't watch the same Disney movies she watched, okay? It's a different set.
I like cartoons, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, you watch Snow White, and she she's picking up on like what you call it tales that just came out the other day, or
Moana.
it's a different, it's like a different, and so unfortunately sometimes it doesn't work out. I'll tell you, we're not going to get to that yet. Let me come back to that. But yeah, I think you're very, very right. I think there's a sliding scale there. It works because there is a sweet spot somewhere in there that works if the woman is basically trying to get, she's looking to have children, right? Or somewhere in the range of 25 to like 35, right? She's trying to do that. Maybe wants to settle down. Today, nowadays, that's even later, right? Is it
Yes,
closer to
yes.
30, right? People are thinking about 30 because they can freeze their eggs, they can do whatever, and they have more career oriented. You know, women can do so many more things than they could when I was being born in the 1970s.
We're not going to tell anybody.
so
Yeah.
so it seems to me that yeah, they're willing to wait longer. They want to have their own security. They want to be able to manage their own careers and do whatever they want to do, which I think is great. You can go ahead and do that. But then there are some people who are just like, nah, I hit 25. I want to make these eggs. I want the best eggs possible, and I want to get them out of here and have it be done. But it's a lot of different. I think really it might depend on what your societal norms are, what your thought process is, where you were grown up. If you were a person who used to date a lot of older people, then you might be a little more mature because you're thinking, oh, this is what stuff should be, things should be like. And then if you're a person who dated younger people, then you might, think, okay,
Or
this is
look,
growing up.
in my lifetime, I dipped in different age pools to get to know people. Okay, from much older to much younger, and it was good for fun reasons. To
Yeah.
someone to go out with, depending what you are in that period of time. That's the people that you're hanging out with.
Mhm.
A friend of mine married much younger guy, and she knew that she's going to be with him up to 5 years. So that was a project, 3 to 5 years, just because she just had fun at the time because she knew that's not going to last. There is a period of this amusement, this what is the right word? Being charmed by a person and a lifestyle. Just imagine, let's say from the woman's perspective, a very young girl getting married to much older guy. Suddenly, she is in a much more sophisticated group of people. She is more exposed to things that she would never dream about because she just finished school and she didn't start working yet. And there's a lot of things on her plate, but in a much further future. And now she's having everything. So this is great. This is, she can enjoy this. And at certain point, she will discover that, hold on, I'm not old enough to know exactly what type of guy do I like. And then she start maturing and finding out. Myself, I didn't know who I would like and what type of guys I'm attracted to until I was 25. That I was already a mother. and married and divorced actually at the time. So it's different, and then that young girl will start missing the fun that she's supposed to be experiencing in her age, going out, having fun late nights, not going to bed at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., being in bed at that time when you're young and in your 20s. You remember, you just start getting ready to go out and have fun and coming back at 4 o'clock in the morning and then go to work at 9, start, you know, following day, and you have no problem going pushing the day through because that's the beauty of the youth, of the
Yeah,
age.
yeah,
At uh, at our age, well, you're younger than I am, but at our age, you're coming home Friday, you're exhausted, and on during the week, you have no even, you're not giving thought of having fun because you're preparing yourself mentally. Either you're digesting day of work that or the stress that you have, or you're preparing yourself for the following day. It's different life. Or there's another scenario where a young girl is stepping into the role of a stepmother. So there's completely different situation, but I mean completely different situation, because from having fun, she is jumping in to be a mature woman who has to make right decisions, not only for herself but for other human beings. That's a huge responsibilities. So look, at the beginning, there is a lot of, any relationship, there's a lot of lust, there's a lot of charming experiences, but we all have to at certain point shake it off and start thinking realistically and ask that person, not only thinking that, oh, because I'm going to be so good to this person and she or he will love me so much that they will change and they will do everything for me. You can't do that. You cannot
man.
do it. If you really care for that person, you cannot do that to them. You have to be honest, straightforward from the beginning. This is, listen, you are fantastic. We're having great time. Uh, the sex is
Boy,
fantastic, and we're having
but you're a
fun.
5-year plan that I'm going to step away from, basically.
Yeah,
Eh, eh,
yeah. But but I'm looking,
Agnes,
you know,
I'm not saying. Listen, it's. I think it makes sense to tell people straight up front what is going on and what is happening. But I think it is so. It's so unlikely that a younger person in their 20s or so is actually going to tell a person, "Listen, we're just doing this for a little while, right? And then we're going to be." I don't think that's what's happening. I think people are getting into relationships, acting like they're going to go for the full haul, and then all of a sudden, when it's convenient, it's exit stage right. You ever see that in the cartoons?
yes,
The guy's
yes.
feet are going like this. Yeah, listen, I think there are a lot of people when things get hard, when things aren't going exactly the way they're supposed to go, who, yeah, they might be a younger person. They're like, well, you know what? I might have to get out of this because it's not going exactly the same way I want it. And I think that's like scary. You got
It is, yeah.
you want
Yeah, it is. But you know what? As when you are the older person in relationship, you should be responsible for that younger person. If you know exactly what you're doing, and we're talking about big age gaps, right?
yeah, big age gap.
You,
Well, we
yes,
hope so.
if you care for that person, you should be responsible, more responsible than the other one, and have that reasoning, listening with proper brain, and think about the future. You know what I mean?
You're saying have that conversation with them.
Yes.
You're
And
right.
also,
You're very.
also
Mhm.
keep watching if this is what's going on, because with the young person, when you are with a much younger person, they're discovering. You have to remember, they are just discovering what they like. They just discovering who they are. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to be in the kind of relationship, because you're taking responsibility upon your shoulders for their happiness, which is unrealistic thing, because we cannot expect anyone to make us happy, and we shouldn't be in a relationship to make someone else happy. Be happy with who you are and with yourself first before you start demanding or offering something like that. It's just
You're
too much.
singing my song. You're singing my song. That's why I'm dancing, because I gotta tell you, people expect a lot, especially younger people, and I may even have been guilty of this in my early 20s. Expect that the other person is going to be responsible for their happiness. And the truth is, that is not the case. You are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible for your issues, for your problems, and you have to make sure that you're getting everything that you need. There was a question I heard it the other day. It was, are you giving everything you can? And are you getting everything you need? And I thought that was a great, like every morning in your relationship, if you can answer both of those questions, yes, then you're probably doing a great job. But the truth is, there are a lot of people who don't, when they decide that they don't want to do it. Oh, he said this or he said that, so no more nana for him. Or she said, he said that, or she did this, and I'm gonna cut off her credit. I mean, it's wild. People are
Give me your
wild out
credit
here,
card
right?
back. Give me my credit card back. That's it. Yes. No more toys for you.
Remind me to ask you about something that happened in the news today. Hunter
Okay.
Biden and that issue that he is now facing seems to me to be something simple that you could handle. You know what I mean? That you would easily handle. But at the same time, it looks like they're pulling him in because his name is either because his name is Hunter Biden or because he's had a high profile. Either way, whatever. Anyway, let's get back to this.
Yeah.
Older woman, younger man. Let's talk about that dynamic. Now, I
Okay.
have a little bit of experience in this regard. when I was um, when I was in my early 20s, I dated a lot of women who were either in their late 20s. Oh, one was almost 40, and quite
Mhm.
a few who were in their 30s. Like that was so, and it turned out a lot of them said, "It's Ryan, it's because you're mature." Right, that's what they basically said to me. But I think they were taking advantage. They were looking for some, but
Yes, I'm sure they
actually,
took advantage of you and you screamed,
oh, and
no, no, no,
I enjoyed taking advantage of.
Mrs. Robinson, no.
But I guess the important thing is that when I did date people who were my age or younger, it did not really last very long because I guess I was a little more serious. I was, exactly working on my career or getting stuff done. Yeah, we can go party, Larry, we can do this, blah, 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 because I literally owned a DJ company. But at the time, it was like, no, someone who is busy in her career, she's a nurse or she's a psychologist, and people know who they are now. I'm running my mouth. Or they're a person with kids. Like I'm, I'm talking to you, and you can take me or leave me because you're busy doing whatever it is you're doing. But a lot of the 20-something-year-olds, like my age or younger, needed a lot more attention. And I always felt like, wow, it's a lot until I was ready for it, right? By the time I was ready for it in my late 20s, then yeah, I was okay, great. I'll
But
settle
see,
down.
you're just proving my point that the 20-some-year-olds they were just discovering. They
Yeah,
needed more
yeah,
attention
yeah.
because they were discovering, do I like him? Do I not like him? Do I like those things about him? Do I don't like I don't like about him? So the
Mhm.
20-year-olds, they're still discovering and learning about themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
um from my experience, I have to say that women in their 40s, especially when they're single, either after the divorce or being through certain relationships or difficult relationships, they are tend to have more fun. They're going for something, okay, I'm just gonna have fun, I just need a companionship to go out to dinner with. And sure, she will look for arm candy, someone younger, and so she can feel proud, especially to show off to the ex-husband. See, I don't need you. Look at him. So things like that. They are, and plus, if they're women family oriented, uh, they un they're gonna concentrate on their children, but the women are more career oriented. They will tend to have more fun and go for someone younger. Again, have fun with.
Get
And
further. Okay.
yeah,
Now let's get into that childbearing thing, because that's important too. If you're a woman who's in her late 20s to her mid to late 30s, you know it's baby fever, right? So if she's dating a guy, she's probably should be probably looking for a guy who's going to be in about that age or a little bit older. But as I've heard a lot of people say, is, oh, those guys are taken already. They're married. They're doing something else, because that woman waited until, she was doing whatever she was doing. Just she got, whatever degree she wanted or whatever job she wanted. So I see that as something where if you go and take a guy who's now like 25 or below, now everybody in your family is looking at you like, what are you doing with that with that super young guy? And it seems as though you're only doing it because you're afraid that the eggs are going to go stale, right? What do you say to a woman who is in that age bracket, and finding herself dating someone who is like in his second or third a decade on the planet?
well, I do find that a lot of men in their 30s,
Yeah.
mid 30s, late 30s, they are looking forward to established family. So they're
Okay.
looking to have family and everything else. So
Right.
although attractive age group to date, but I found it that they are going for very serious stuff because they're more okay. They know what they're doing in the careers, and
Yeah.
now it's time for the family.
Right.
So they like women that majority of them they like women that are already established because they're established themselves. So they
Mhm.
might be a good age group for a little bit older woman, but then if she's over 40, that's a little problematic
Yes,
to start having
because
children. So it's a difficult
she
situation.
might have children, or if she doesn't, it probably means that she cannot, or it would be difficult at that point, right? So a man in his
Yes,
late 20s, early 30s, looking for, somebody in their 40s, it's unlikely, or going to be different. There's so many pressures that society puts on both men and women. Like my mother would, of course, have wanted me to have children, so of course. You're like, all right, mommy, make sure you can see these
you had
grandkids.
children to please your mother.
It wasn't specifically to please her, but I knew I wanted them. But then you were. It's a benefit. That's an added benefit. Oh, mommy actually uh, is happy that you have them too. And I know that's a pressure that comes on women way more, not even just from their mothers. It's coming from their sisters, from other people in their family. It happened to my mother. My mother was at her age, born in 43, 1943. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's an age. That's what's on the calendar. Because a lot of people are like, what? Yes, in the 1900s, 1943, she was born. And everybody was like, you're 30 years old and you don't have any kids yet? What is wrong with you? Are you?
Oh yeah.
It was like a whole thing where and she had me at 30. And so there was a lot of, and that's not even, interestingly enough, doctors refer to a 30-year-old pregnancy as a geriatric pregnancy. I always thought that was interesting, right? But yeah, there's a lot of pressure from society around you, from your family, from your sisters, your siblings. You might be looking at, oh, you
You
don't
know,
have kids. What's wrong with you?
forget the society, forget everything. It's like I can't even imagine at my age to have a child in a elementary school right now because the level of energy or interest in what they're doing, it's just so
It's not,
low. I
yeah,
love my grandchildren dearly, and it's fantastic because they coming for a few hours, they get your attention, you want to hear what they're doing and everything, but then you're gonna not gonna see them for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and it, you know, and it's fantastic. And
that's it.
it's everything is great because you're coming back to, to your life where you're going to bed earlier, and you have a glass of wine, and then you watch a show and whatever, or you read your book, or you want to do whatever you desire. Where young parents, I see my son and my daughter-in-law, their life is surrounded. I mean, they live for the children,
Right.
and everything what they do, the kids come first, and
Yeah.
there's takes their life, obviously, which they are happily do it, but thinking about them, what they're doing, it makes me tired, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
this organization, that organization, this sport, that sport, and doing this, doing that. And they're so creative. Okay, are they thinking ahead that they're gonna have day off, we have to do something with them. We're like I said, I'm getting tired just hearing that. But just because I embrace different lifestyle at my age, I don't
Don't
want
want
to
to
even
do that.
think about it.
Right.
So having children, just can you imagine having a child going to college when you are retired?
I have seen it. I am not there, but I have seen it. I mean, yeah, I'm blessed to not have it that late. It would be
Yeah, but
wild.
the pressure. Can you
Yes,
imagine the pressure, the financial pressure on you and throughout your life? And like,
yeah, because that
I,
means
I can't.
you either have to have a really nice pension that's stashed away and coming to you, or you have to go back out to work. That's basically what that means, especially when you're retired. The minute you're retired, the insurance companies are looking and saying, "Oh, when is this person dying?" Because if the
Yeah,
retirement, yeah, that's what happens in retirement. People aren't being pushed; they're not getting up every day and doing something. They slow down and they actually. And I'm not saying it's everybody, guys. Don't send me any letters. But most of the time, that's what insurance companies are looking at. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna go away. You're passing away soon enough." But yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, it's a serious thing. It would be difficult to actually do some of that stuff unless you're really into it. That's the thing. That's part of the other thing too. I think men in their 30s and 40s are, people who actually want to be fathers. The guys that I know, 30s, 40s, 50, they are into being a dad. Like that is their, they're really, if they have children, they're focused in on it, even if they're crappy at it, because some of them are not so good. But but the idea is to try, because you're like, oh, I know this one guy who he teaches them what he knows. He did baseball when he was a kid, so now he wants his kids to do baseball. And I see basketball, like dads who are like that, like I'm gonna do whatever it is that you want to do with you, or whatever. Or dads who are like me, who are more intellectual and want to I want to pass on information to my kids. I want them to not struggle through the same things that I did because I'm here to tell it to them.
yeah, they still will.
Yeah, they'll still do it because they don't listen. I know they don't listen.
That's the beauty, but that's the beauty of it. Did you listen to your mother all the time?
Yeah,
Our
no, I
parents
did
were
not.
telling us, exactly. Our parents were telling us, do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. And we were like, yeah, okay. And then we
Yeah, you
stepped
still
in the
don't do it.
same situation. And then we thought, oh, our parents were right.
That's what
They
mommy
were
was
right. They
saying.
told me, yes, my mother told me. So what have I done? You know,
What's wrong with me? I'm an
yeah,
idiot.
we remember those things after we do it. After, but at the same time, each generation has their own beauty, and we all have to experience. We only will really know how it feels when we experience something. So we have to fall to know that it hurts to fall. So when, next time we're going to walk and try to keep our balance and not to step in something that can make us fall. Our experience makes us stronger. Our
Yeah,
experience makes us stronger. So
it
yes.
does.
And the
It
same
does.
thing with relationships. You're dealing with younger people. Like I said, everything is great until responsibilities start knocking into a door. You cannot expect 20-some-year-old or someone even older but who doesn't have life experience to act accordingly to our needs when we are older, because they simply don't know. And if you are assuming a role of a teacher, a mother, or a father, then that's a wrong relationship that you're building. You know,
Absolutely
you cannot be a parent to your spouse,
different.
or a love interest.
Yes, you should not. You should not be that parent. No, no. And it's wild sometimes you don't even realize. Agnes, I don't want to say anything on here that's going to get me in trouble, man. But yeah, there are times when I look back and I'm like, what was I doing? What is happening? Whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, I suck at this thing. This was not my thing. Like, as I've grown up past 45 or whatever, I'm looking back, I'm like, oh, I made a lot of errors. I made a lot of assumptions. That's really what it is. I made a lot of assumptions that people were a certain way or whatever, and that's not always the truth. You sometimes have to do a lot of communicating to sift through all of the nonsense that people have been taught at home or weren't taught at home, and then you have to explain it to them. Later on, some of them will tell you, I learned this from you, and this was something I had never seen before, and it made my life so much earlier. And I was like, what? My mom taught me that when I was like 7, and it's just a different experience. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So it is what it is. Yeah, you don't want to be someone's mom or dad when
No.
you're dating them.
Also, from what I have noticed, and it goes with both sexes, men and women, when there is two people meet together and there is one person gives the other one everything on a silver platter under the nose, like, okay, look, I'm into you, so there's everything what I can offer, everything you're looking for in your life, so I'm the person, I'm your person. And then the person will look at you like, no, there's something wrong. There's like, I need to chase, I need to play games. And again, when it comes to younger people, they love the chase, they love the challenge, they
The
love the
game.
things like, what why are you so honest? What game are you playing? Why are you telling me everything? Well, there is no game in
There's no
all.
game.
Exactly. When you live couple decades, more than 2 or 3 in this earth, you are tired of games. You are tired of chasing. You just want to have a simple sit down, say, listen, this is what I'm about. What are you about? Okay, you know what? We're not comparable. Good luck to you. Let's be friends and move on. Or this is fantastic. Let's give a try. But this is the honest conversation we're trying to um, get to know each other. When in the younger age, there's no such thing. Like I said, a lot of especially young women, oh, I'm going to change him, I'm going to change him. And after that, can you imagine he listens to his mother? Can you imagine he did this or that? Well, guess what, you saw that from the beginning. You are not changing anybody. No one is going to be changed unless they want to change themselves.
Yeah. Well, I gotta tell you, it's like you're over here singing my song. It's really a problem. I'm not very happy with this episode because people are gonna be
I'm
watching
so sorry.
like, Ryan, is she talking about you? Because I gotta tell you, I mean, honestly, I played games in my teens, and then I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I don't want to do this. I want to be honest. I guess it was my upbringing. I guess there really isn't any room for games or whatever not, and I guess I should have been playing games, but I really didn't do any of that. It's fascinating. I was willing to give myself over, and other people were just like, nah, 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 we're not, we're not interested in that. We're gonna say one thing and mean something completely different. And I just didn't understand that. I didn't get it. And so, yeah, there's the mistakes that you make, man. You have to watch yourself and say, okay, who's ready for what? Whatever. And that's why if it's a May December romance, say it's like, isn't Cher like almost 70 and dating a guy who's like in his 50s, or was something like
No,
was
no,
it Madonna? Was
he's
it Madonna or Cher?
no, hold on.
Maybe.
Cher is dating a guy who is 35 or 25, something like that. But this is
See,
Cher. Come
so
on, she
now
can do whatever she wants.
no, but okay, forget the fact that she's Cher though. Is that a money thing? Do you think that's a money thing, or you think that's because she's Cher and she still looks amazing at that age?
Listen,
But that guy's not dating her because he wants kids, right? That's not what he's
well,
doing.
I don't think that's she could adopt him to be her grandson at this point. So like I think it's the fun stage. I think it's because I can stage. You know what I mean? But let me
Because I
tell
can't.
you, Ryan, and you're already in that age that you can start predicting rain in your bones. Okay. So we are not talking. So if that happens in our age, what happens at 70s? Okay, you can have fun. You can, like I said, you can have the arm candy to go out, to have fun, to go to certain functions. But come on, let's get real. This is not a lifestyle of a 20-some-year-old.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
not
not what you.
happening.
Someone said to me this week that they recently found out that they are a sapiosexual, meaning that they're attracted to people's minds instead of whatever else is going on. And I was like, that is absolutely true. So sorry that for some reason my sapiosexual meter doesn't work. Something happens between this head and the other head, and all the, the messages gets crossed. So we're trying to think about. I didn't do that in my 20s and 30s. I think
Right,
what I did.
right. I'm gonna tell you a little secret.
Yes.
When I was getting divorced,
Mhm.
one thing worked always very nice, and I was
Mhm.
divorced more than once. My darling, it's not you, it's me. I'm the bad
Seinfeld. All right, straight up.
guy. Okay, okay. It's just whatever works just to get where you're going.
Yeah.
So whatever they find out, I think if someone is looking um, for minds, so maybe that's a good match for you because you are very intellectual. So maybe there was a signal given to
Yes.
you. Maybe there was a signal given to you. Um,
Oh,
some
stop, because if
you
she
know,
watches this now, it's a problem.
look, I don't know the person, so I'm just saying, I'm just jumping into conclusions here, okay?
Yeah.
It, plus there's a lot of different ways, but sit down and talk again. Sit down and talk. People will have so much less conflicts in life and problems if everyone would have been honest and straightforward. Look,
Be
I'm not
honest and
attracted. Yeah, I'm not attracted to you because I'm just not, or I'm all into you, and let's try it. There are different ways of just being straightforward. Don't get offended. Don't just let's. Well, this is about our lives. This is to avoid heartache.
right. What do you think about the factor of um, money? Like if for example we were talking about share, but it also happens. In fact, most times it happens with men, where men are they have a lot more money, and the younger person is either just getting started out, and sometimes that is the reason why they are going to hang out with this person, because they are looking for financial security. What do you think about that factor and how it messes
So
how it messes everything,
if someone is
how it plays into everything? I was like, I'm leading you right into.
if someone is looking for benefactor, you know, Doesn't mean it has to be anything other than, you can give to charity. uh you can you can help anyone, you can adopt someone to help. But if you were talking about romantic
Mhm.
relationship where there's a lot of money involved, okay, come on, where's that leading? If your wallet is thick enough to continue this,
Yeah,
then I'm
it
sure the person who is benefiting more financially from the relationship,
I was just
it will
saying,
stay. y- yeah, it will stay until the wallet is empty.
I just think that sometimes it seems that that is the reason why, and it's just easier to just go ahead and do that. Even though people will say, "Oh, that doesn't mean it. That's not why I'm doing it," but sometimes I think that that is that is definitely in there, but nobody is hearing it. Are you able to see me and hear me? I'm trying to get you a screen so you can see that. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can see you frozen a little bit.
Okay, so I'm freezing just a
Okay.
little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so I'm
can
just
tell
gonna
you
edit
just
this
one thing.
one thing in here
You
so that
know
I can
that the
talk to you back. Because
person
I think if we look at this, okay, go ahead.
is with you for a reason of, for love, or that the person cares for you when you are going through difficulties in your life, when you are sick, when and they're here to care for you, when you're going through certain heartache and they're there for you and with you, helping you through those problems. That's when you know that you are in a true relationship. Not because of money, not because of any other benefit.
It's over right.
you know that's the test of true
That's,
relationship.
that that is the test for the finances. Okay, so definitely there's that thing about kids. There's the thing about money, and then there's the thing about society, which we spoke about earlier. There are all these different reasons. Would you say, of course, it is still more common for it to be an older man versus an older woman, right? That is still much more common nowadays,
Yes,
right? Um,
absolutely.
do you have recommendations, Agnes? Like on the top of your head, would you say what are the age groups would you say this is where you should get married or whatever? If you're in your 50s, who should you get married to?
In your 50s to get married to you, you're talking about age group. Well, if I'll be
Yeah, in the
someone,
age group.
a
You're a man.
male in 50s, 50 years old, I'll be looking at someone in their, I would say, 38 and above, depending what that person
38 and
wants
above.
from.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
but I think that,
Okay, that's
um,
good.
yeah, no older, not, but I
Okay.
wouldn't go over 50.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually getting my advice right now. When, oh, so if I'm 50, I shouldn't go. If a person, not necessarily me,
No,
we're
no, of course not you.
50
We're not talking about you.
and,
38 to
and
38
you
to
think that they
50.
shouldn't date anybody who's
38 to
younger than
48,
30?
let's say.
Okay.
Yeah,
As a
38 to
man.
48.
Okay, as a man. Now, as a woman, is that this? Now that's for me. Is for a woman. Do you think the same thing? Like a woman's like 50 years old, should she be dating a guy who's like 38? Should she be doing for someone high? Should she be going someone low? What do you think? About the same?
No, no, no. My husband is 4 years younger than me. It works for us. So I would say 5 years younger, but up to that, no more than that, really, because that's asking for
Okay.
trouble,
Okay. And why do you
difficulties.
think? Why? Okay. Trouble.
Why? Just because I told you, I like, like,
Okay. Okay.
men get
There.
gray, he gets sexy. Woman gets gray, he gets old. Okay, so forget it. Why struggle? Why struggle?
There's that, but you know, there seems to be this great trick that God, nature, the universe has played on men and women. In that, in their 20s, men are raring and rip raring to go sexually, and then women don't feel that way until they're like in their late 30s or early 40s. You're like, what the heck happened? Of course, what are you doing at that point? But it's very interesting to see it go back and forth. So good. I think I got some good advice, but more importantly, I felt like it was a great conversation about this particular thing. I wanted to show you this because this is specific to what it is that you do, right? So let's see if I can bring this up and you can see it. Okay, let's share it now. Let's pull it up. All right, good. So it's interesting. It comes up in the middle like this now instead of the way it used to. It used to come up. A StreamYard is changing, you know, how they run this thing. All right, so I'm going to close this. Associated Press. I try to go for Associated Press because if you go CNN, people are going to say you're going one way. If you go Fox, you're going the other way. Associated Press is the closest thing in the United States to just presenting the news without any commentary. Hunter Biden, Washington Associated Press. Hunter Biden was indicted on 9 tax charges in California as a special counsel investigation into the business dealings of President Joe Biden's son intensifies against the backdrop of the 2024 election. All right, so right there, I don't like that sentence. I'll explain it later from a journalism point of view. The new charges filed Thursday, 3 felonies and 6 misdemeanors, are in addition to federal firearms charges in Delaware. See, they're going on with this. All I want them to tell me about is what happened. Broke laws against drug users having guns in 2018. They come after the implosion of a plea deal over the summer that would have spared him jail time, putting the case on track to a possible trial as his father campaigns for re-election. Again, it's all about his dad. Hunter Biden spent millions of dollars on an extravagant lifestyle rather than paying his tax bills. Special counsel David Weiss said in a statement, the charges are centered on at least one. This is the only thing that really matters. The charges are centered on at least $1.4 million in taxes Hunter Biden owed between 2016 and 2019, a period where he has acknowledged struggling with addiction. Back taxes have since been paid. So the back taxes have since been paid. Agnes, from your perspective, if back taxes were a problem, they've already been paid. Why are we still talking about this?
Because his last name is Biden. Because his last name is Biden. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. Whoever is in that kind of situation.
So normally you have a client, and you've already paid off the back taxes. There wouldn't be an issue with it.
They pay penalties, they pay interest, everything is being paid. That's it. That's it. IRS is not.
So
IRS.
So what?
Okay, we would not be talking about it if his last name wouldn't be Biden. That's it. This is for embarrassing. This is the only purpose of it is to embarrass his father.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm not taking that from a progressive / liberal / whatever people like to call me, all kinds of things. It's very interesting. I consider myself old school conservative, but I'm looking at this and I'm just like, but Agnes, explain this to me. This is what you do, right? You go to the IRS, straighten these things out. He's already paid back the taxes. Yeah, why are there additional charges? And if you've already made, there really shouldn't be any reason. But you're saying that this is specifically to embarrass his father and to get him in more jeopardy. They can't leave it alone, right? Because there's this whole thing about some laptop
There's
somewhere. And so, but
well,
yeah, I just wanted to hear it directly from someone who actually knows what they're talking
forget the addiction. That's not a tax problem. Somebody's addicted. It's not a tax problem. The gun charges has nothing to do with taxes. That's a completely different issue. Okay. And there's a lot of people, stars, politicians, a regular Joe Schmo who got who won $10 million. They will go, they enjoy the extravagant lifestyle, they'll forget to pay taxes. That's why there are penalties and the interest. Let me tell you, in 5 years, the amount, the principal will double. So that hurts itself when they have to pay back. There are different ways of paying back. That's another story. But at the end of the day, they do have to pay back. When there's a lot of money, they do have to pay back. There's not leniency that, oh, poor you, you cannot pay it. A person like that has money, they have to pay it. And that's the end of the story. Okay. If you committed
about. Right.
fraud, which he didn't, because what he did, he just didn't pay it or he didn't file, but everything was done afterwards and being straight out. So there is no fraud. If someone commits fraud, sometimes they might go to jail, depending what fraud was it. Okay, if they make millions of dollars behind somebody's back and it wasn't, it wasn't reported, or when it comes to situations like that, but not when there was money out on an income. Everything is being paid with penalties and interest. And now that we're talking about it, if his last name wouldn't start with B,
So,
we would
so you
not
think
hear
that it
about
is?
it.
So you think it is? So you thinking it is possible that if there was some sort of fraud that they're just now catching, that they will go after him for, even though he's made the payments, even though everything has been paid up, all the bill has been squared. If they think there was some sort of deliberate impropriety, that they would still go after him. Is that what you're saying?
I'm sure that that train already left the station, because when IRS it's um, investigating the case, okay, to figure it out exactly what's going on, they would have caught all the situations, all the inappropriate, I can't pronounce that word. Uh, Anything that would have been wrong, they would have caught it right there.
Before.
Yes, absolutely, because they are very thorough with their investigations. Very. This is not something, oh, you want it? Okay, boom, that's it. That
No.
takes time. They
No.
investigate. They take your bank statements, they subpoena bank statements without client's knowledge. Okay. They find out everything and anything. And then you closing the deal. Then you coming to the
Yeah.
number.
So pay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So people, make sure you pay your taxes. And if your spouse hasn't paid their taxes,
Did
I
you
have a
know
message
that
for you.
filing a joint tax return makes both spouses equally liable for the entire tax owed, even if only one earned the income? Did you also know that you might not be responsible for errors your spouse made on the joint tax return if you were unaware of them? This was the case for Chris, who faced a huge tax burden from their ex-spouse's unpaid taxes. After coming to us and qualifying for innocent spouse tax relief, we were able to get the heirs to agree that Chris was not liable for the outstanding taxes. If you are in a similar situation, innocent spouse tax relief could be your family's solution. Visit our website to see if you're qualified at newyorktaxresolutions.com. Yes, people.
Right? You like that? You you like that part when it goes like it's
I love it.
you're getting married. It's a wonderful, and then all right.
That's
So,
what I'm thinking. Is this
ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. We did a whole. That's a great show. We did a full hour today. I hope you loved it. Rest in peace to Ralph Sorella, the Howard Stern Show. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry to hear that you're gone. Ladies and gents, if you are looking for some sort of tax relief, let me tell you right now, you're going to be going to nytaxresolutions.com. That is where Agnes, your tax pro will actually take care of you. If you want to send in some information here at Love, Death, and Taxes, you're going to send it to mailbag@lovedeathandtaxes.com. I did check out that email that we got the other day, Agnes.
Well,
Bottom line is, yes, we can do it. I hope you're enjoying the show. Generally here Fridays at 5 p.m. Straight throughout. It's getting dark nowadays. That's why I've got this funky background behind me, because I don't want it to seem so dark where I am. But I thought this was a great show, Agnes. You,
I
you
love
had a
your
good
villa,
time.
Ryan. I love your villa.
Love my villa. Yes, I'm gonna play it on the piano in a second. See, all
Yeah.
right, all right. You guys have a good night. Enjoy. Have a good evening. See you next week.
Till next week.